you've told me about the Middle East region and that it has an undersea base there. That is, what can you tell me about this particular base?
Highly disruptive. Very, very disruptive base. First off, I can give you the general location. It's located in the area of the Gulf of Aden. This Gulf is located in the Arabian Sea between Yemen on the south coast of the Arabian Peninsula and Somalia in the Horn of Africa area. In the northwest, it connects with the Red Sea through it's called the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, if I'm pronouncing that right, which is about 20 miles away. And you know, in addition, because of what I've learned from my Andromedan Council contacts about this matter, I did some additional research on this whole area, this Gulf of Aden. And it seems it's been known for years as a very dangerous area known as Pirate Alley because of the historically large amounts of pirate activities located there. You have in your possession a Google map and a simple map of the area so that you can have an idea of what we're talking about. But, as you may or may not know, the vortex that people were talking about, I guess about a year ago, also happened in this body of water in the Gulf of Aden. But back to this specific base. My Andromeda Council contacts told me this base is deep, thousands of feet underwater, about 1.5 miles deep, which is, at least for my own comprehension, that's a long way down in the water. In any case, this base has been for years being a very specific, highly irritating, highly agitating, fear-based, and anger-inducing attenuated sonic frequency. Right to the area of the Middle East, which is like kind of due northeast, to keep the people in this area in a constant high state of emotional confusion, fear, agitation, anger, energy, all sorts of aggression. They've shown me, visually, they've shown me that there's a transmitter that literally rises out of the ceiling of this base, much like a periscope in a submarine. And the thing rotates. And a particular frequency is chosen, which turns people against each other. Then the reptilians turn it on. And they turn it on almost every day. However, if people were underwater or standing on the land, they wouldn't be able to see this frequency, this beam, with their own eyes. It's sonic. It's a sound frequency. And it's out of our spectrum. We can't see it. But this is exactly how the reptilians dominate and control these people. This particular base has been in operation for, I said, 5,000 years. And of course I was astounded to hear this, and I double-checked the information, and they said, yes, absolutely 5,000 years. And these highly agitating sonic vibratory engine energies, these sonic beams from this base, they reach as far as Syria, Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and a whole bunch of other countries in the region. Very powerful technology, very far-reaching, serious long-range capability. The thing that I was most astounded at is they told me that it only takes about 15 minutes of operation of this transmitter being on for people in this area to start to feel its effects, for them to start getting highly agitated. And it certainly explains a lot. At least when you consider the history of this people, to me, it explains a lot of what's been going on.
Always a war.
Now, you've also told me that there's a reptilian base off the coast of China. Can you tell me a bit about this operation?
Yes, absolutely. This undersea base is also in deep water, much like the undersea base in the Middle East region. It is also thousands of feet deep in the ocean. It's off of the coast of China, and this one's about a mile down, and it's also located on the ocean floor. Compared to the other base, this base has been in operation for about 3,000 years. And like the one in the Middle East, it also beams a very focused, very specifically attenuated, fear-based frequency. But it's a different sonic frequency. It works the same way, but it's a different sonic frequency beamed right toward the Asian mainland. And in this case, it's meant to keep the people, the population of China and the whole region as much as possible, in a place of constant emotional fear, intimidation, anxiety, and control. So you can see how this sonic frequency is different from the one in the Mideast. But for years, these people, the people on the mainland, have been highly manipulated, highly controlled, in a constant state of fear for their lives. And as we all know, they have few freedoms and have been living under a strict regime of government for a long, long time. Even if this transmitter is set at a low level, it's still effective.
That's the base right there.
Have said this particular transmitter from this undersea base, they turn it on for at least 30 minutes at a time. And much like the one undersea in the Mideast, this one also rotates. So its reach is also long range and can affect the Korean Peninsula, of course China, Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, and some of the other countries in the region. The intent of this frequency is control, manipulation through continually perpetuated fear and anxiety. Pretty self-evident, but the question I kept asking them is why? Why is this more important? Well, the reason why this is important, at least to the reptilians and the greys, is that they soak up this energy, this highly negative energy, negative emotions. Emotions like anxiety, fear, terror. At least to the reptilians, it's much like, like the human drug classification of amphetamines. The reptilians crave this human emotion of fear as a consumable, as a food source. And of course, with any drug, the more they have, the more they want. So, you can see why a base like this is so important to the reptilians and greys, because it controls a very large very large population of the people. The people of the country of China and a good portion of the Asian continent. And when you think about the implications of this, a government, a people, and a country this large, controlled, manipulated, and monitored,
it's a lot of
in a constant state of fear. That's also a huge source of food, or a drug, if you will, to the reptilians. So, if the Andromeda Council does their job, and continues to do so, as I believe they will, and this base off the coast of China gets taken out like many of the other bases, then you take away the reason for the need for control and fear. You eliminate the source of the problem. No undersea base, no reptilians, no greys, no base, no need for perpetual control and fear. Pretty simple, huh?
Not that
Now,
easy, my friend.
Why is it that these specific bases, the one at the Middle East and the one at China, are more problematic than any of the other reptilian bases, are more of a challenge to take out?
Good question. Both of these bases, the one south of the Saudi, Emirates, Yemen, Oman Peninsula, this is the one in the Gulf of Aden. And the one off of the coast of China, both are well fortified. they gave me the image of like a reinforced fortress, if you will. And they're, of course, very deep underwater bases located in the ocean floor. They each have a domed roof and an energy shield protecting each base. So they're simply well protected. But there's a matter that's even more important in terms of which base has, I guess you might call it from in military terms, a higher strategic value. Taking out the Reptilian base on the floor of the ocean, which is south of this Saudi peninsula, is it's a priority. It's a much more pressing matter, and the reason is simple. Alfred, as you and I both know, and historians know, Earth's history continues to repeat itself year after year, including recently, especially in this area. The squabbling, the skirmishes in this region, they've gone on for thousands of years. And the original reasons for these skirmishes, I believe, have gotten blown, of course, way out of proportion. And if you consider bases being run by the Reptilians and the sonic frequency being beamed directly to this area, you can understand why. You've got a highly disruptive, highly agitation, confusion, anger, fear creation, sonic energy beam coming from a transmitter from this base. And it continues to escalate the possibility of full-blown war in the region. You know, and as you know this, we've been watching the news for years. It's constant fighting, even among their own people. And they don't even realize what's going on. They don't even know the reason why. And that's the undersea base of the transmitter. And that's the most astounding thing. We here who live in the West would see all of this news year after year, and there have been different variations of Mideast wars, and we might wonder and think why. This base provides a valid reason. It's not the people themselves, it's this irritating frequency that's continually transmitted to this area. So I'm going to qualify all of this and close by saying, actually quoting the commander of the primary Andromeda Council Biosphere when I asked him specifically about this situation in the Mideast region. And he said, and I'm going to quote him, "The people in this area are being played much like what you call pawns on a chessboard, and they have no knowledge as to how, why, or how long this is taking place. We have to and we will put a stop to this. This undersea base will be taken out. Yes, outside parties with outside interests have attempted nuclear strikes in order to start a full-scale war in this region, which we have stopped, disabled, and neutralized their bombs a few times. Yes, we have had, as you would say, a hand in this. Understand, a full-scale nuclear war cannot and will not happen in this region. We will not allow actions that permit nuclear war to start by either side. The impact would be far too great to your planet, to your people, and the rest of your solar system. Moreover, what you do on Earth affects all of us." These were his words. Pretty profound words, I might add. So, about these bases, anything else I might say about the situation would get into, or might get into tactical or strategic information, and I can't do this. But I can tell you that the goal is simply to put an end to the mostly unknown and unaware enslavement of the people of Earth by these reptilians for thousands of years. And after the end of the war in space is simply concluding with